Just got done working on the front diff and changing the front shock fluid, and about to work on the rear shocks to get their fluid changed. So here's the rear of the buggy. I'm about to take the wing off here. They've changed it so now it comes stock with these two button heads on here. I'm just going to take this here. Get these two screws out. I'd loosen them out almost all the way. Sometimes they stay in, sometimes they don't. This guy here still had a few threads left on it. I just put them over here in my parts dish. Wing comes right off. Now it gives you a little bit more space to work in on these shocks. Because I don't have the 5.5 millimeter socket for me to use a ratchet or something. So I have to use a stock tool that comes with the kit here to get these nuts off. So I'll be back in a second when I've got these shocks off. You just take these nuts off, and then there's a screw in each arm that you take off, and then the shocks come right off. I'm almost got them both off. I just want to mention one thing. These silver screws here on these arms, they're left hand. On the right, the ones that are black, they're right-handed, so you gotta turn these out the other direction. So this one, to take it out, I'm gonna turn it right. Sometimes a little tough to get. It depends on how long they've been in the arm. I just use the electric dragger to get everything out of here. I think that's almost it. Don't feel like it's quite out yet. The shocks, once they're out, they should pop right out. Sometimes they're really difficult because my car's fairly new. I've only been able to run it once so far. Just getting the way out here. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. I'm gonna be right back when I get this guy out. He's a little stuck. Back here, I'm going to show you how I take apart these shocks here. So the Lowe's has done a new thing now where they have a screw here to hold these spring cups on. So if I can do this one-handed, let's get you some light in here. I'm going to show you how I take apart these shocks here. I've got this one last rear to take apart. I've got that other one up here where it's done draining. It doesn't take long to drain them out. You just move the piston inside back and forth a little bit. So you got this screw here now that Lowe's has done. My guess is they probably had problems with these spring cups coming off, so they've got a nice solution to it now. Just give me 1 second, you guys might not have the best view here while I take this out. I'll be back in a second. So now that I've got that screw out, I'm going to show you how I take these apart. I just grab the spring, pop it on back, and then you kind of have to work this cup on up. Sometimes they're a little bit more stuck than other times. You just come in here, pop it off, pull it back, and it comes off like any other spring cup here. Sorry guys for all the shakiness. I'm using the phone for this. I need to get like a stand or something so I can do this better. Hopefully you don't get too seasick. That's stuck out here a little bit. Just pull this cup off here, set it over to the side, and your spring comes right off. I set it over here with my cup, and then now you have your shock. So as you can see, when I originally built it, I had a good amount of rebound on them. I want to change that so I have less rebound, and it's a thinner fluid in here because I found, or a thicker fluid I guess for the back, because I found my car was really bouncy, so I need to increase my fluid weight. So in order to get the top off, I use the stock tools Lowe's gives you. So you pull back this shock shaft covering. Careful not to rip it, because they are just a thin rubber. Pulls on back, and then you slip this on over the end, this tool, and this slips on there. You slip the other tool. Show you here. Other tool here. It just sits onto your shock cap. It goes onto your shock cap. Over there. This tool goes onto your shock cap, just like so. And then using the tools, you twist it off. You can see that there. You just twist the cap off. To get these off, just like I said, you use your tools here as a handle. You just twist this cap off. So I twist it off a little bit, and then that way, in case any dirt got trapped in around here, I'll then take my brush. I just brush the shock off. Make sure there's no dirt that's going to be able to get in here. So this way, minimize potential hazards to your shock. Cap unscrews just away. The cap comes off. I set it over here in my dish. And then what I do from there is I take a water bottle or something, some kind of container, pour the fluid in. I just kind of work the fluid out. So I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but first couple times you pump this shock end up, and you can hear the oil squeeze on out. So once it feels like it's mostly out, kind of see in there, it's a little residual, but I'm gonna work on that a little bit more. If you're having troubles with all the fluid coming out, if you've got some time, just let it sit. It'll kind of work its way down. So like this would be a good time where you could grab this other shock here, take your shock fluid, and then you fill it up almost all the way to the top. A little too much there, but not much to do. Grab a rag here. Wipe some of it off. So you can see, I'll help you around here. You can see how the shock fluid's almost all the way up to the top, but it's not quite. And then, turn it back around so you can see. And you kind of carefully work this shock end up and down to kind of get rid of some of that air that might be in the bottom. I turn the end around a little bit to work these holes around. I take it. Now I've got a shock stand I have. Turn you around here so you can see it. I was just taking a piece of sheet metal, drilled some holes in it. I just take our little shock here, set them in like so, and so the fluid can drain out, just like that. Fluid is in there. You can see some of the air bubbles. And after time, those air bubbles will come out. So now this other one here that we had is probably drained out all the way, or pretty close. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but you don't want a ton of residual fluid in there. So put it down a little bit. Now you can see. Bring it down over here. Just give it a second. Flip it around. little shiny, which would be oil, but it's pretty dry for the most part. So now you just rinse and repeat, fill the shock up, do the same as you just did with the other one, so that way you can have make sure you try and stay consistent with how much you have and how much air you have in there. So this one had a lot of air in it when I put it in. And big old air bubble, so I stopped. Fill it up there. Like I said earlier, just got the shock up and down a little bit, trying to get some of this air out. Set it up in here. I suppose that fits in nicely. Set it up in here just like so. I'll let them sit for a couple of minutes so that they can get all the air out. Meanwhile, when you have this fluid, over time this bottle will fill up over time. You can see all my use fluid. Since it's all been run a couple of times, it's fairly clean. It's just been run maybe 10-20 laps at most. I just noticed that the day when I went out to practice, the rear of the buggy was really bouncy, so I wanted to change fluid when I got home that day. Well, life happens and I didn't get to change it that day, so here we are almost a week later changing our fluid out and getting everything, making sure nothing's broken. But so far, working on this X here, it's been great. This rear diff comes out like super easy. The middle is literally 4 screws you got. You literally have the 1 screw here. There's one down in here. You can kind of see it by the carb there. You gotta pull up this screw, and there's one more to the left of it. A pretty long screw, so you have to make sure you take them out, or else the case doesn't come out. And then you literally just flip this metal part here over with the servo. You literally have different hand, as Ryan Dunford would say. You can see the car's still a little dirty, but it's an off-road car. They get dirty. So I'll be back in a second when I've got these shocks here done. A minute or two. And these shocks here, I can grab one without spilling it. Almost spilled it there. Spilled a little bit down the side, but nothing to worry about, because it's an emulsion cap. You'll have to bleed it out. You can see there's very minimal air in here. You look in there, there's very minimal air bubbles. So what you do from there is, you take your shock, turn it around here. I can get you in the box of that I use for my shock fluid, but it'll work to hold you guys for now. Take your shock cap, put it back on just a few threads, and for those that don't like oil, this is not a job you will enjoy, because these cars are a little bit messy, but it depends on how well you can keep the things clean as you work on them. You will get a little bit of oil around. So now that I've taken the bleed screw that goes in right here, you can see the bleed screw here. There's a little hole there. Now you're going to take your shock. If you want rebound, you'll stop at the point where you want the shock to rebound to, but I don't want any rebound. So what I'll do is I'll grab a blue shock rag so I can wipe off the oil that comes out. Just wait a second. There we go. Generally, I'll hold the shock with this blue shock rag, that way you kind of get it. Just hold it in there, and then you want to have the hole facing almost straight up as you can. So now that you have it, you can thread your shock cap on the rest of the way. I'll take my tool first before I do that. Normally I take my tool and I'll tighten that cap down all the way. Get tight as I can go with it, but don't over tighten it so that you can't get the cap off next time you go to do maintenance on your shocks. Alright. So the cap sits on, even with the bushing on the shock cap, this tool will fit on here. So you just take it, tighten it down. And the shock cap, it hits a point where you can't turn it no more. So it gets snug, and when you hit that point, don't try and turn it anymore. You shouldn't be able to strip it because you're using a plastic tool, but if you're using a metal tool or something, especially if you're using pliers, tighten it down. Make sure you have like a rag or something between, like a cloth rag, else you'll scratch your caps and stuff. Now, you watch, when I bleed this, as you can see the oil come out there, and over my finger there. So when I do it, this oil comes out. And the concept is that when I get this bleed screw back in after I'm bleeding these, there should be no shock rebound. I move the shock up and down a couple of times, make sure I've got it right, and then shock up all the way to the top where you want it. So you can see I have it all the way up. I'm going to put this bleed screw back in. Screw it all the way in. It's just nice and snug. Don't have to reef on it. I'll wipe my shock off. Clean it up nice and good. You can put your boot here back on. So you can see your shock. When you squeeze it, it's got a slight bit of rebound here, but it's better. It doesn't have as much rebound. It doesn't try shooting out of here with anything. It does what a shock should do. It dampens your impact. So you push it slowly, it goes nice and easy. But if you try and push it fast, it reacts to that and it tries to slow down. So now at this point, you can put your springs back on. I do believe they look like they are tapered springs. So make sure you have the tapered ends at the right points. And you just do the same thing as when you did when you took it apart. Take this here, it pops right on, put it on. I squeeze it so the boot comes down. Then you take your screw here that you had originally that was in here. I thread in a couple threads by hand. It's a little difficult, it's a small screw. I'm going to take my driver here and just screw it in the rest of the way. There you go. Oh, fell off the screw there. There we go. And tighten it down. Don't over tighten it. You will strip this out if you over tighten it. Now as you can see, rear shock done. So now I'll be back when I've got the car put together the rest of the way.